Let's begin today's Vanguard news by giving Stoicheia players some attention, since DZBT09 basically shrugged them off. But these new Granfia and Argo Siren cards in DZBT10 will be overshadowed once Nana Clear gets revealed. The irony isn't lost on me. Yancha Pepino, when discarded from hand during your turn, makes you put itself into your soul if you have a Granfia Vanguard. And while in the drop zone, you can remove itself from the game if you have an Obelisk Rose rear guard to call a plant token. Granfia's grade 2 ride line is a free grade 3 ride up, thus making the first ability seem redundant and kind of counterintuitive, since you want this card to be in your drop zone anyway. Raiding Lord Granfia Julam, and when riding over Lavine Lord Granfia activates Persona Ride and gets all of its original abilities. Then all of your plant and Obelisk Rose tokens on rear guard become plant gauges. Then call an Obelisk Rose Rosarossa token on your central back row rear guard and put all of your plant gauges on that unit. And while on Vanguard at the end of your turn, ride a Lavine Lord Granfia from your soul and rest state. Then put this card in your Obelisk Rose token as a plant gauge. Like with Platina Ezel, what the hell are Bushier Road's dev team smoking by making cards that copies the previous grade 3's abilities and still not solving the deck's issues? All this does is give the deck extra Persona Ride copies and gave Obelisk Rose an extra plant gauge. No wonder it's only a double rare. Even Bushier Road knows this card is just bad. Obelisk Rose Rosarossa has the same abilities as the original Obelisk Rose, with the only new ability being once per turn while on rear guard. You can discard any number of plant gauges from this unit when your Vanguard is attacked to give your Vanguard 5k power for each plant gauge discarded for this card's cost until the end of that battle. So basically they turn Granfia into a budget Roroa, which is funny because nobody plays Roroa despite being able to do up to 5 attacks with high numbers with his waifu. Yet Bushier Road expect players to play this deck which can barely do 4 and has lower numbers. Argo Siren Kuresh during your turn lets you put a normal unit with a different name than herself and isn't a sentinel from your drop zone to the bottom of your deck when she's discarded from hand by your card's ability and you have her Argo Siren Vanguard to put herself into your soul. Then either reduce your Vanguard's auto ability by 1 counterblast or 3 energy. And while on the back row rear guard during your turn, all of your other Mermaid and Tier Dragon units in the same column as her get 5k power if you have a grade 3 or higher Argo Siren Vanguard. Here we go again with cards that virtually have no cost and actually generates you more cards. In this case, discarding her with Calliopeia's ability gives you back not only a Tidings card in your order zone, but said Tidings card can potentially give you another card on top of this card becoming soul and then making one of Calliopeia's abilities free of cost. This is way too overtuned. Finally, Straight Scale Dragon gets all of its abilities if you either have a Argo Siren or Aqua Force only Vanguard. When placed on rear guard, you can pay 3 energy and discarding an order card from hand to draw 2 cards. Then one of your units gets 5k power if your opponent has a grade 3 or higher Vanguard. And while on rear guard, it gets 5k power when it attacks or stands by a card's effect while you have a grade 3 or higher Vanguard. Yyugmashad really set a precedent in the game. Why bother playing your orders normally when you can use them as a cost and still be able to use them for free, all the while getting 2 new cards as a result? I would even go and claim this is slightly better than Yyugmashad, as you can use its ability when called from deck or drop zone. And that concludes this Vanguard news without the bullshit. Special thanks to my Patreon members for continuing to support my content creation. Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments which deck needs a Yyugmashad clone next, and why is it Ezel and Thegria.